Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I would like to offer the elemental energy reading for the energy of water, and that covers Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. If you're interested as to why I read elements and not the zodiac, you can check that out in a video linked in the description. For me, at this point in time, it's just a little bit easier to work with these energies because I've been working with them for 20 years versus Zodiac, which I'm still not so good at. There are a lot of tarot readers out there that read Zodiac, so this is just my way of offering monthly readings. So, and as I've done for the last few weeks, and I think this might just become a permanent part for the monthly readings, we'll start with a I-ching hexagram. If you are interested in any of the decks or books I'm using, they are linked in the description. Most of those are associate links or affiliate links, so when you click through them, it actually does support the channel. Also, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoy these type of videos, and comment and let me know what your thoughts and feelings are about the readings as we go along here. And now I've cast the hexagram before we started because they take some time. So we'll get started with the water hexagram, which is number 40, and it is release. Release. The west and south are favorable. Those with nothing to gain from going forward will win good fortune by turning back. Those who do have much to gain from going forward must hasten to be sure of doing well. So, depending on your situation, if being in a more relaxed state and being a more stand here and deal with things, that's going to benefit you. But if you do have big goals that are down the road, this is a time to make haste. So you've got the west and the south are favorable, so south is fire, so that's very aggressive. That's that must charge forward. Water's a bit more passive, it's a bit more relaxed, and that's the other aspect. So you've got these dynamics, and it's going to be very specific on how you respond to situations or where you're at in life. And when we jump into the tarot and oracle, it'll give us a better idea of which direction for each person, I would assume. So, starting with our foundational line, and of course they put it on two different pages, no error. So basically there's not a way in this month of November for you to mess up, is what they're saying. This is the time, this is really a time for just good success overall for the water. This is a time for things to move really no matter which direction you're physically going, fast or slow. Things are going to be lining up for you this month, which is huge considering the last couple of months I've been working with some clearing and some rearranging of things and dealing with some deeper issues. So far, it looks like this one is the time to just allow things to come to you or chase if inspired. So our second line, this little solid one here, with one yellow arrow he killed 3 fox in the field. Righteous persistence brings good fortune. This is being able to do things by taking one action and doing massive amounts of result is what they're talking about. This could be with the water being passive. You just kind of go with the flow and things are falling into place. With the fire, it could be that you're taking one next step and it just aligned and clicked into place the next few things. That can be with relationships, that can be with business, that can be with coworkers. It's how it's manifesting in your life. General readings are interesting like that sometimes, but it's really saying that it doesn't matter how big or how small the action is. This month in particular, it's going to be amplified at least threefold. So that's a good thing. Our third line is traveling with both luggage between or bearers and a carriage. So you have a lot of things you're toting around here. He attracts the attention of robbers. To persist would be bring misfortune. So this is that releasing part. This is the heads up that if you're toting too much baggage, whether that's emotional, physical, stress baggage, this is not something that you want to have right now because other people are going to see it and take on the role of a bully, so to speak, and not the new term bully like the old school, where they actually physically would come after you, not just say mean words. Um, so this is the time to really step up. And what is it you can release? What can you let go of? How can you make yourself not appear as a victim or someone who people can just pile on because, well, you already have so much. What's a couple more stresses to lay on your plate? This is that time to release your stress so that other people will be like, oh, they have boundaries. We should probably not poke at that too much. So our fourth place line is a fumbled release. Put your trust in the friends who will come. This is where you're coming into trusting the right people. If you're releasing things, sometimes you might, just because we do this, release someone that you didn't realize you were needed to keep in your life. And what this is saying is, even if you release everything, all of it, the right things are going to come back into play. So basically, clean house is what they're saying. That doesn't mean to be rude or vicious, but energetically go through, cut the cords, clear space. If you're feeling led, clean your house. Do a fall cleaning instead of spring cleaning, but kind of get your space in order, open up space, because nature hates a vacuum, and if you make space by clearing out the bad, those positive intentions, the things that you've been working towards, will now have a place to come into your life. So our fifth place line, only the superior man or woman brings release. Good fortune is up to lesser men to put their trust in him. As you're going along here through this next month, when you're working through and you're clearing out, by example, other people are going to notice. As it said with the third line, by carrying excess baggage, too much nonsense in your life, you're going to attract those type of people who enhance and make it worse. Once that's cleared out, then the superior man or woman, that's when you're bringing your positive release. You're clearing that stuff out. That's good. That's amazing. And when you do that, the people who are on a lower energetic frequency, not good or bad, just a lower frequency, are going to see that and want to know how you did it. So they will follow and try to observe, to learn, so that they can achieve. So it's really, again, we're talking about being a good example, and that doesn't mean actively pursuing. That is passively doing the work and watching others come to you for their guidance. Our capstone, our top line here, the prince shot an arrow and killed a hawk, perching on a high wall. Everything is favorable. Hunting a hawk is exceptionally difficult. So when the prince, which is an aspect of the divine, you could see it as your higher self or your holy guardian angel, shot the hawk and killed it on a high wall, this is saying that it doesn't really matter what you're aiming for in this coming month of November. The stars are aligned, so to speak, with your goals and ambitions, as long as you're tied into, as it said, the prince, your higher guidance, your higher self, holy guardian angel, God source, divine energy. Once you get that connection, the worlds can open up for you, and this is really going to manifest in this coming month of November. So let's take a peek at our tarot and oracle. I read intuitively, so the messages may or may not be aligned with what's actually on the cards, because they're tools to guide our intuition, is how I view them. I read for the first part, or for 5 weeks, for has how many is in November. I read for a guide or guardian, and that manifests as someone who will help guide you through the week, or an energy that's going to help protect you from anything coming up. A message from source, this is a positive affirmation reaffirming of or support from the heart of the creator. And then we also look at a lesson or challenge from the tarot. If it's a lesson, it's something to work on that week. If it's a challenge, it's a heads up. Energy might be a little bit wonky in this particular area for that week. It all depends on how it interprets to you. I will bring the messages forward as a collective. So your first week's guide or guardian, which is manifestation angels. These are the angels that help you bring things from the vortex, the ether, the mental state into the physical. These are the angels that can help support you in your creative abilities. With what the I-ching was talking about, as you release, you manifest, these angels can help guide you into the next steps of that growth. The angels are going to help with what is it you're needing to clear out? What is it that are your next steps, active or passive, that can help open the doors to the manifestations that you've been putting out there, you've been setting up, your vision boards, your intentions, all of that. This first week is really about supercharging that energy into the physical world. Your message from Source is the Moon Maiden and New Beginnings. Everything is setting you up to a new start, a fresh start. In the tarot, this would be the Ace clan across the board: pentacles, swords, wands, and cups, chalices. This is that energy. So you're setting yourself up. There's something new coming in. Working with the moon and lunar energy, this is going to start as subtle intentions, intuitions. Your guidance is also going to come from the divine feminine more so than the divine masculine. So it's going to be a lot more subtle. This is tapping into water's ability to be passive. I can't say the other word for some reason. And that ties into your manifestation. So this first week of November, it's really about listening to your intentions, listening to your intuitions, paying attention to your dream states, or the feminine people in your life that are maybe making a suggestion, or in conversation something will trigger. I have found some of the most amazing aha moments occur just visiting with people. So don't think it has to be some kind of magical, I had a vision last night. It can literally be in a conversation and that snap will come through and you're like, wait, everything you just figured out the missing piece to something you were working on. So let's look at your lesson or challenge from the tarot. See what the fairies have to say. And we have the 8 of Autumn. Do research before proceeding. Education in the form of seminars, going to school, or apprenticeship. Excellent craftsmanship and long-term projects. This is just reminding you that you never stop learning. And with manifestation, as you're working to manifest, you're still learning. As you're tapping into your intuition, you're being guided to next steps. And this card is saying, no matter what's going on, it's always good to look into it a little bit deeper, take another check on it, make sure it's what you're actually hunting for, because what you're doing and what you're developing is not going to be something that is going to just fall into your lap. Manifestation does tend to ease the path, but you still have some work to do, and that's what this card is saying. It doesn't have to be complicated stuff. A seminar, a one-day event, can be enough to get you kick-started. And working with your craftsmanship and long-term projects is just saying the type of manifestation is going to show up in small things, but it's really going to be working on those bigger projects this month to help speed things along for you. So your second week's guide and guardian is Earth and Ground. This is just saying you're working with this intuitive energy this first week. The second week, reconnect with the earth, reset, bring it back down, because especially the water signs, Pisces in particular, they want to check out, so they start getting into that high energy and then they're away, and then they wonder why they can't function in the normal world. This is the angels and guides that are coming in are saying you have to remember to stay grounded. The manifestation is awesome, but you don't need to go to the ether to manifest. You stay here and pull it down. And that's what these angels are saying is the first week was following your intuition, taking those next steps. The second week, the angels are saying, keep your feet here. You're in this moment for now. So you're taking and manifesting it into the physical world. You're not popping up to the ether to hang out with the manifestation before it becomes physical. You're here to learn the lesson of bringing it in, and that's what the Earth and Ground angels are here to help you with in this second week. So your message from Source is heart home with compassion. This is really about, as you're grounding, as you're bringing yourself down, you're bringing balance back into your manifestation. Manifestation occurs from the throat through the third eye and crown and the upper out of body chakras. So this is where you're developing what you're manifesting. Then you bring it down into the physical by grounding it through. The heart is your fulcrum. The heart is where you bring it in, you adjust it if it needs to be adjusted before it fully manifests into the physical world. The heart is your balance, it's your compassion state. So as you're doing these growth periods, like with the I-ching, there's that point where if you're dragging too much baggage, people are going to keep adding it to you. That's where the compassion comes in, of knowing when to say, yes, I will help, and no, there's a barrier here, something that doesn't feel right. Your heart can really tap you into your intuition, and that's what the second week is reminding you. Even as you're grounding, as you're manifesting, as you're working with this, if your heart is open and active, you'll know the right steps, you'll know the people who you can trust to bring in, or those that you maybe need to cut off or at least put up a wall for a moment. Sometimes you have to take people out of your life entirely, but most of the time it's just a temporary thing, because somewhere you're not in balance or somewhere they're not in balance. And once that is readjusted, then everything goes back to being kosher. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is number 6. These are our major arcana lessons. It's the Lovers. True love that is long lasting, choices made from the heart, a return to good health. So you're working with this heart energy this second week. You're working on staying grounded because the first week kind of popped you up into the other state. This card is saying things that are coming in, and this could be for the single waters or water signs, or for those in relationships where they want to take their relationship deeper. When you're manifesting, you're grounding, that's anchoring as well. So you're anchoring this heart energy into your relationship. And the Lovers are saying, if you're single, the second week could be the week where something shifts in a relationship or someone new pops in. This is saying, pay attention to your relationships, especially the new ones, and see what is coming forward, because you're working with the heart, and when the heart opens up, the heart tends to know more than this computer up between your ears does, and so it might be working on something to bring in a deeper relationship, a new friendship, possibly romantic relationship that you're not fully aware of. But if you're grounded with your angels, then that door can open a little bit easier. So the second week, staying really connected to the earth, staying really focused on opening your heart, and allow the relationships that you have to grow, change, deepen as needed. So, and relationships are friendships, romantic, sometimes business is a relationship. One of my favorite quotes that applies to most relationships and how I view them is from Memoirs of a Geisha. In the movie, she's talking to I can't remember the guy's name, but she said, I want to learn about every kind of dance. What is business but dance between two companies? What is sumo but dance between two giants? And that applies to relationships. Relationship is not just a romantic thing. Relationship is a friendship. It's a coworker situation. It's an employer-employee thing. And that's what the Lovers is talking about. It doesn't have to strictly be a romantic thing. It's all of your relationships. So just pay attention to those this second week. Your third week's guide or guardian is inner child healing. As you're working with your manifestation, you're working on earthing and grounding. This one is going to be a little bit of a challenge this month, and this is where you have guides coming in to help support you. The I-ching talks about releasing stuff that's not working, releasing the excess, and really finding that passive way of moving, because you're working on some healing. It doesn't have to be aggressive. Working with the inner child, you're working with your innocence. You're working with the core of who you are before you became jaded, before traumas occurred, all of that. So you're tapping back into an innocent state, and that's what the angels are wanting you to be aware of this third week, because when you do, that innocence blossoms, it grows, and that's where that passive movement occurs that helps to amplify the things you're doing now. When you work with your inner child and you kind of clear out some of the gunk that might be stuck there, it allows you to really tap into the heart of who you are. It reinforces your connection to God source energy, and that awakens a lot more of your manifestation abilities as you're going forward here. Your message from source is skywriting with the fates. You're working with your inner child this third week, and the fates are stepping in to say, we're going to help you. We are going to help align things following your intuition and your connection to source. Look for signs and symbols. The fates weave the fabric of your life in the old traditions. So when you're working with the fates, these are things that you have set in place that really aren't changeable, but they are adjustable. And that may not make sense. You're not changing an entire timeline with this, but you may be adjusting the frequency of a timeline you're in. And so with your inner child, as you heal that, let's say you're on the third path. You're going to elevate from 3A to 3B, C, D type of energy. So you're not shifting a timeline so much as you're elevating the one you're in when you work with the fates. And when you're clearing and nurturing your inner child, that's helping the fates adjust you into these higher frequencies. The higher the frequency goes, the easier it would be to pop into another timeline. So these are all different ways of building manifestation energy. And this third week is really talking about tapping into who you are at your core and looking at things that are basically not options to totally take off the plate and change, but how can you adjust it? Because you can change an adjustment without changing the entire thing. So your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Two of Summer. Apparently relationships are on the menu this month. Falling in love or making a serious commitment to someone, forgiveness, and the resolution of a problem. Don't give up. Your relationships can be healed. As you're adjusting stuff, sometimes hiccups occur. When you're working with the fates, they may be bringing up how are your relationships unbalanced? Friendships, romantic, business, financial. How are they unbalanced? And the lesson or the challenge for this third week is how can you work with the energies to readjust and fix the relationships? Don't give up on a relationship or a friendship because you might be distant or you may have had a spat at some point. How can you fix it? Looking at it from an energetic standpoint, is there something that you can forgive? Is there something that needs to be unraveled? Maybe it was a miscommunication, but the challenge or the lesson for this third week is how can you work with the fates and your angels of inner child to adjust, to fix that situation? Business, family, friends, romance, all of that can be very, very interestingly tied to one mistaken word or a phrase that was misunderstood. And so this third week is really about, as you're working with your inner child, you're seeing maybe patterns that were not the greatest from before, and when you clear those up, it will help fix the relationships in the present. So, and again, we're not talking active aggressive movements here, which would be the South Fire energy. You're still working with water, more passive energy. So this is internal work. This is intuitive work that is going to help shift things in the outside world, bringing those manifestations into existence. Your fourth week is transformation. These angels are coming in to basically take everything you've learned so far this month or worked on this month. You're going to re-anchor your manifestation. You're going to shift situations where the third week you were elevating timelines, you weren't switching them so much. This week it's all about the more drastic outward changes. The things you've been doing internally, more subconscious, more passive, this week are going to start manifesting in a more vibrant, they keep showing me the word bombastic way. So this is where dynamic movement could be occurring as this fourth week. And the angels of transformation are going to show you how to do that without causing too much ruckus, because you're not doing this to slap up anything upside the head of anyone else or to rock your world. You're doing it because it's time. These things that have been building behind the scenes, things that you've been working on intuitively, subconsciously, privately, this is where they start stepping more into the public spotlight. And it's not going to be necessarily you doing it. It's going to be the universe aligning to reveal it. So, your message from Source: vanishing mirrors ego sublimation. Instead of looking at a reflection of what is happening, it's going to actively start just happening. Because your outer world, everything, and this is going to sound harsh, everything in your outer world is a reflection of what is going on in your inner world. Your subconscious mind, your mental states, your heart, all of that energy is being reflected in the outside world. This card and the message from Source is saying, as you've processed through this month, you have learned that when you alter the inner world, it alters the outside world. So instead of reflecting, you are now stepping into a position where you have more active role in adjusting. As you fix your inside, you fix the outside. So it's a transformative time in this 4th week. It's no longer a reflection that's going on inside to outside. It's now, I am going to start actively becoming a part of my life by fixing this, and I fix the outside world. In alchemy, as within, so without, means nothing, you're not changing anything outside. You will never change that outside. But when you change what goes on in here, when you change your energetic frequency, when you change your inner world, the outside world adjusts to match that. Because you really are the creator of your own existence. We are energy beings to a point. And with that type of energy moving forward, and these angels coming in, especially the transformative ones, it's now time to really start actively participating in creating your own existence. The different teachers over the years, the Abrahams, the Louise Hayes, the Seth and Ram stuff, is all coming in to say the same thing. We're moving into a very rapid period of growth and expansion as a species. This is how you contribute to that if you choose. You have free will of choice. You choose not to do it, you don't have to do it. But these are the energies that are aligning this month, in this 4th week especially. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Queen of Autumn: generous, stylish, gracious, and practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed. The ability to make anything more beautiful, meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. This is that manifestation energy of working within, creating your outer world. And this is what you're doing. This is how you create. The Queen of Autumn is creating beauty. She's changing the world to be a better place. And honestly, if we all were working in connection with our God source divine energy, with our higher selves, and working to beautify, make better, and improve through our actions only, not forcing other people, not controlling other people, just through ourselves, if we all went that direction, this world would fix its problems in literally less than a day. Because that's the energy of that positive frequency, and that's the energy that the Queen of Autumn is bringing in this 5th or 4th week. And that's kind of a challenge, because we don't want to take that personal responsibility that we're the ones that have to make those decisions. We are the ones that make those changes. We can't say, well, so-and-so politician or so-and-so public person. No, they only are reactionaries to what we're doing, really. I mean, to be brutally honest. So if we change how we respond to a situation as individuals, we change the course. And it literally takes one person to change the course of another person's life. Then that person can change the course of another person's, and it literally will expand in such a massive way that you can create ripples in a very short period of time of just being in a better situation. That does not mean toxic positivity by ignoring the negative or whatever, but improving yourself through small, simple steps is how you change the world. And that's what this 4th week is bringing forward. They're really being chatty today as far as the guidance, so I apologize for it being a little wordy, but they have a lot of good stuff that are wanting to make sure you guys hear today. So the 5th week's guide or guardian is your guardian angel. This is the angel that protects you as you go through life. In a lot of the myths and legends, they speak at birth, you're given 2 angels that are with you forever. Normally you don't talk to them, they're just there. And one is your recording angel. This one answers directly to the Akashic records. They record everything you do, every thought, deed, action, word, and intention, and those all get transferred into your Akashic records. Then there's your guardian angel. This one is the one that brings in the protectors, helps keep you out of accidents and missteps, but also at times lets you because it's part of your soul's mission. This particular angel communicates directly with your soul most often, not so much your conscious mind. But in this 5th week, your guardian angel is stepping forward to say, we're here to help support you. We are here protecting and keeping things kind of buffered, barriered, if you will, so that your manifestations can be brought forward, so that you can actually do the work, do your inner work, do your intentions, and that's what they're here for, is to help not so much guide you, but support you in your journey. And that's what they're wanting to bring forward in this 5th week, is your guardian angel is here to support you. And this is not your holy guardian angel. That's a little bit different principle, but these are just your general guardian angel, the one that keeps you safe as you go through life. And your message from source is winter's dream gestation period. Things that have been moving through this month have amplified, moved things forward, and really stepped it up. And it's interesting that this winter's dream, because we're moving into, especially in the northern hemisphere, the winter months in December. Here in November, what you've done this month is amplify, intensify, manifest to a point. And what this card is saying is this 5th week is really about, you've done this, you've got to this point, now it's time to allow it to process, to gestate, to incubate, so to speak. You could be even hibernating, so if you're really tired in this 5th week, don't be surprised, because everything that you've been doing has manifested significantly, but with all forms of action, there's a rest period or refractory period that has to happen. And with this one in this 5th week, this is your time to kind of bring it down, even if it's been a passive manifestation and passive work, internal, intuitive. You even need rest from that at times. And that's what this 5th week is saying. And the guardian angel is coming in to say, we're going to help you. We'll keep the stuff away. We'll keep things moving while you just kind of allow yourself to be. Don't stress, just be in the now. Really focus on that in this 5th week. Maybe do some self-care, things like that. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot for this last week of November is number 15, the ego, the illusion of being trapped, placing too much importance on material items, getting caught up in fear and worry. So this 5th week, you're working on being calm, being quiet, being in the now. The challenge is going to be keeping the ego at bay. Well, what about this intention? What about this manifestation? What about? The ego is not wanting to be used as a tool, which is what its purpose is. It wants to be in control. In this 5th week, as you're kind of like taking that break, you've stepped back a little bit, everything's moving just fine, you're releasing the stuff that you don't need anymore. The ego is saying, but what if? Now, what if is a fun game, but when you play but what if, that's when you bring the ego in, because that's the doubt. That's that self breakdown of, well, maybe I'm not doing this right, or maybe I could do this a little bit different. And this 5th week, you have the guardian angel coming in saying, no, we'll keep that over here and deal with it. You work on just taking care of yourself, self-care, tapping into the now moment, allowing the things that you have brought forward full time to incubate, to gestate. That allows them to hatch out into the next level of their existence, which is the next aspect of your manifestation of your intentions. So just be aware this 5th week, as you're trying to take a cool down pill or relaxing time, the ego is going to be having a moment where it's not so comfortable. That's the ego's problem. Your ego is a tool. It's not to be destroyed. It's to be learned to know when to turn it on, when to turn it off. And this 5th week is really about reminding it that you're not the one in control here, buckwheat. Sit down. So hopefully those messages resonate for you guys in the month of November. I hope you have an awesome month of November. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it and comment any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, or even constructive criticisms, and I will let you guys go. Have a great month of November.